All right.
Coach Shah, you had quite a bit of turnover in your corners room this offseason. Just walk us through this offseason, what it was like, retaining the guys that you retained and also the guys you brought in from the portal.
Yeah, great, great question. We did lose quite a few guys. Some we expected, others came out of left field. And I say that, but NIL and the transfer portal, I'm starting to appreciate more than ever. I might have only 6, 8, 10 months with somebody. And that's just the truth. Thank God that they closed the portal window. So now maybe I can say 10 months with a kid. But we were fortunate to really make some good moves in the portal to acquire some experience from some kids from different universities, to bring in young guys, and still waiting on one kid from Fresno City who will be with us in June. I feel like for the guys that are here right now, good acquisitions to help with the departures that were unexpected and some that we knew were coming. So people are at least showing me that, Coach, you can put me in a position and you can begin to trust me. It's hard for me to say in spring. I usually don't trust anybody for a long, long, long time. But people in the room are flashing, so that makes me happy.
Sharrieff, you've obviously had a close relationship with Morgan. What's it been like to watch him take that head coaching job? And what, from your perspective, what is it about him that makes him a guy that will succeed in that role?
Another coach who just joined us said, to answer your question, perhaps I can just maybe answer it anecdotally. Another coach said, it's amazing. He feels like he's been the head coach for a long time. Said that about Coach Scally. What I think very few people recognize is that he has been preparing for this position for a long time. When he became a coordinator 10 years ago, he was thinking about, one day I'm going to be a head coach. So he would sit with me in my office and say, okay, out of the blue, who would you like, if you could choose, who would be your offensive coordinator? Who would you like to have a running back coach? I'm like, I don't know. I mean, that was so, I didn't even care about it, but he did. So much so that he would come in and start writing down names in a little pad, and this pad became part of his notebook. The conversations formed a part of his head coach notebook. And I felt like it was, man, what we're seeing now. Somebody said it's such an easy transition. No, not at all easy. A very methodical, painstaking, meticulous transition. No, nothing was overlooked. Every stone was turned over. Every consideration made for years into what people see. Oh, that's pretty awesome. Well, that's nice, but it just shows me when you work at it for so long and you recognize that this is what I want to manifest and I will do it and believe in it, assemble the right people, coaches, players that believe in what I think we can be, and it happens, you're just like, okay. So it's been awesome to watch him work now in his new role. Yeah, I've enjoyed it.
Sharrieff, I'm going to ask you a question a little bit off the beaten path. Kyle in the past had talked a little bit about just recruiting against negative Utah stereotypes, and you've lived in the state, you've recruited so many players. I'm curious, just from your perspective, what does that look like, some of those questions that recruits have coming from, as you guys especially have expanded more into the South,
right?
What are some of those questions? How do you walk players through, the different culture that Utah might have?
Sure. That's a good question. It's always the two biggest points when you say negatively recruiting against Utah. Everybody thinks that the LDS religion, they have no idea about it. Very few people still. Oh, so what's that all about? Is it some secret, strange, different religion? It's not. So you have to educate people about the religion. Okay, well then if you're recruiting people who are of different backgrounds, ethnicities, are there any black people, Polynesian people? Well, yes, there are. What percent? And what do they make up of the school? How are they received at the school? Because in the South, it's sometimes distinctly different than what it is here. So you're breaking a lot of misconceptions. You are really changing what people have thought they understood about the state or the people in the state. And when they're open and you can have good conversations, and people receive us in a way that they probably weren't expecting to. Like, oh, it's really good people there. Actually, good people everywhere. I tell them all the time, there are bad people everywhere, good people everywhere. We just have a disproportionately higher percentage of good people in Utah.
Joel, we'll have the last one here.
You brought in a lot of height to this cornerback room. How much of a priority was that when you were targeting players in the transfer portal?
I always love taller corners. Either you better be tall or you're fast. Sometimes I get the combination of both. And this year's acquisition of players, to have 1, 2, 3 players over 6'2", lovely. To have another player 6 feet, to have a young high school player 6'1", it helps in every aspect, especially when you play as much man coverage as we do. And so if you're going to play as much man coverage and bring the pressure that we like to bring, you want small windows for the receivers to catch the ball. If I have a corner that's 6'2", that ball has to be perfect. Most of the time it won't be. Success to the defense. And having a longer corner gives you a better chance to get an incompletion or something that's really awesome, like a pick or maybe a pick six. So it's something that, every good corner coach wants a taller corner. You just do. It helps you in so many aspects. You give off, there's a trade-off there. Taller corner may not be as fluid. His ability to redirect, sink his hips, change direction may not be as good as that corner that's 5'9", 5'10". But with a little bit of flexibility and some stretch classes that they hate to go to, they become a little bit better, a little bit more fluid. So you start to see things that you see all the time in a smaller corner show up in your taller corners. So it's nice. It's only for our benefit.
Thank you, Coach.
Got it.